Today is an exciting day in college football because we finally have the returning production numbers courtesy of Bill Connolly. Let's look at the teams returning the most and least production from last season. At the very top, we have the Clemson Tigers. There's a reason they're getting a ton of offseason buzz right now, and it's because they're number one in returning production. And then a very unique thing, Arizona State at number two. We've got the ACC and Big 12 champions from last season as the two teams returning the most production, and that's the reason you've heard so much offseason hype on those guys. Coming in at number three is another team getting a ton of offseason buzz in Illinois. They've got a ton of those key contributors returning. And then Texas Tech, who not only has a ton of returning production, but a really excellent portal class on top of that, which is why people think this will be Joey McGuire's best team yet. As you go down the list, there's some interesting teams listed here like Texas A&M, Rutgers, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. I'm even looking at Arizona, who's pretty high in returning production. But honestly, the ones that are the most interesting to me right now are these CUSA teams. Kennesaw State, Missouri State, and Delaware, all in the top 20 in terms of returning production. We could see that conference flip on its head. Near the middle, we see some teams that I'm very high on next season, like Penn State, Alabama, LSU, all in there with decent returning production numbers. At the very bottom, the team who was the most ravaged this offseason was Northern Illinois. They're in a pretty rough spot. Washington State, Jacksonville State, some programs that lost their head coaches, also in a similar territory. And you've got other programs like Marshall, Charlotte, UNLV that could be in for a tough season after losing a ton. But then there's also teams like Purdue and Ball State, where I think a low returning production number is good because their teams weren't very good last season. You don't want a ton back from those guys. Let me know down in the comments, though, what are your thoughts on the returning production numbers for 2025?